Hello everybody, welcome back to Obduction. I had to start a new file. The game that I have didn't want to continue for some reason, so I had to reload it, or restart it. After my last episode, ended up walking around a little bit and ended up doing a lot of things that it didn't record on my camera for some reason, so all those things that I did were not really... I couldn't get back to them real easy. So I started a new file, and I'm pretty much back to where I was. Starting a new file, though, gave different patterns of my license plate here. So I did take a picture of them already, but I'll do another one, and I have them all written down on a note here. So there's all my license plates. This is the Villian number system that was on that piece of paper. Phone number, house number, and the playing cards. I don't know if those are going to be important or not, but I wrote them down anyway. I took pictures of all these things also inside of here. So I have my house number, playing cards, the train number, and each bit of paperwork that I've seen, documents, and books I'm taking pictures of too. So the old version of the game I had, like if I had a piece of paper and I wanted to take a screenshot of it, when I would hit space, it would close that piece of paper, so it would be like in the moment of moving. So that was really annoying. But this version of the game is great. I know. Couple different things. On the back of this, I found that there's a really cool stuff. Not sure exactly what it means, but I did take a picture of it. It's about the manhole, whimsical world, characters come alive. Really cool. But what I'm going to do right now is take this 1555 help you number. Oop, don't do that, Brandon. And I'm going to run over here to this phone booth. I'm going to put that in and see what happens. Alright. 1 5 5 5 4 3 5 7 9 6 and 8. Okay, that was fun. Alright. Not entirely sure what I should have done there. That's okay. Lock run. So what I need to do is... What do I need to do? I wrote down a couple things here. So I ended up supplying power everywhere. Again, so... I have that done. I have been up in the top part of the junkyard. I flipped my train car around so I can disable the Mofang devices. But there is another spot above the junkyard that I haven't been able to get to, and I'm not sure how I did it before. I opened the garage door. I have that. The last thing CW told me to do is get below the tree. So that is my goal right now, I think, is to get below the tree. When I was on the top side up there, when I flipped the laser car around, there was a path or a rail that went to one of these edges. There were rocks covering that that mine way down there. So that's going to be very important later. So I melted those rocks, disabled that device. So I have that. So a couple things that I need to do were this path. I need to get it up and across. But I need to lower that at some point. I need to figure out how to do that. And I need to figure out how to get below the tree. So that is where I am right now. So that is pretty much where I left off, I think. Let's go talk to CW just in case I'm not doing something right. We'll see what happens. Cecil! Ding dong! To get underneath the tree. Just as I thought. But I gotta figure out how to get there. So let me show you the tree I mean and see what I can do here. So oh no, I'm going the wrong way. Of course I am. It's up over here. This plant life, or this little garden, which I think eventually I'm going to have to get to, but that tunnel is blocked by rocks. So up over here is our tree. And I'll prove it by ding dong.
This is the tree.
Hi.
It has been here in Hunrock for as long as anyone can remember. Its health is intimately tied to everything in our little greenhouse. Our cell we live in, our ecosystem.
Glory to Rastaska.
It has provided many surprises over the years, including some interesting seeds that you will learn more about.
The seeds that capture
Many have postulated
got people
that we
here.
really know very little about its origins. But we do know it should be cherished and protected.
Cherished. Thank you. So I have to get down and under it. So I need to get into this office. But of course, it is locked. So there's a path under there, the gears to lower this. So that is where I'm at. I have to... I supplied water from that to the tree, so that's good. So now, need to figure out what I'm doing. Okay, been wandering around here a little bit, and there was one more piece of paper on this table that I didn't read. Please change Farley's lock code to secure the vault. Her address backwards should suffice. Okay, so the house address is 1436, so 6341. Please change Farley's lock code. So Farley's lock code. Lock code equals 6341. Cool. So I need to find a place to get into Farley's with that. That's what I've been needing. So... oh, that was one of those, top sides. So I have to use the, what is this, the aura? Or going to the borders here, and it transports you to somewhere else. Right. I don't know which one. I gotta get to the back of Farley's. Because there's nothing... it's up there, right? It has to be on the very top. Or somewhere. Let me find somewhere to put this code. Whoosh. So bright. Alright. I need to get over here eventually too. That water gate has to be sideways because that's my only way to get back and forth. And I'm above Farley's now. That's not what I want. Lost them all. Don't need to go that way. Let's go this way. So I need to find where I can put this code in. This way? I'm even further on the top side. So no, still. Where does this one go? I don't remember. My brain can't handle. So here's the top of the junkyard that I need to lower this eventually. But I can't get there. Well. And this is where I had the laser car turned around, came all the way to the end, and I blasted the rocks right there. So down the road, when I do get on this side of the creek, that is going to be very helpful. But as for now, I'm just lost. Let's go to the other side of the map. Let's see if there's somewhere else. How did I get above Farley's? Brandon. Memory. That's where I came into the world. Something here. I ended up destroying this Mofang device with the laser car. It seems like the laser car can directly shoot every single one of these, so I kind of started going for it. I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. I think so. Whatevs. So there's nothing here to put in a code, but there's a path up there. I'm gonna run around a little bit. Okay, I came back over here, and I remember this door up here, so that's probably where I have to go. Because that one had a code panel. Come on, Brando. Let's see how or where I can get up there. Or is it this one? 6341. I don't know. Let's see. Ding dong. 6, 3, 4, 1. Yay! Woohoo! I did a thing! I'm so proud of myself. Piano. Stop running. Hello? Okay, this is the inside of Farley's house. Brilliant! More cards. Oh, look. These are the paths. I'm so taking a picture of that. Oh, so town, the battery, the shop, CW's, falls, Energy Canyon. That's where I am. That's where I came in, rather. 1, 2. Okay. Awesome. Ooh. I did turn on the glints, where it gives me little hints so I can get through the game a little quicker without dilly-dallying too much. Oh, that's... Prepare... I'm gonna pause this for a second so I can read this without showing you how bad at reading I am. Okay, so the first document on the table was documenting explosion a long time ago, and then they sent people into the town to see if the mining equipment was damaged. The second note on the table was telling about this new place on a basically alien planet, and describing the tree as the very center, and when they got here it was a sapling. Okay. This species description, the Mofang, Through ambassador seeds, the Mofang were first non-human species were introduced to. And Liang was the first to call the alien a Mofang. Impressed with their advanced ability to imitate other sounds, movements, and mannerisms, although they have new names for themselves, their language is mostly unpronounceable by human. As a result, and because of the mimicry abilities, communication with the Mofang primarily accomplished by their learning human language rather than human learning to speak Mofang. They've been able to learn mostly every human language represented in Hunrath, enough to provide functional, if rudimentary, communication. Okay, so there's an alien race communicating with all the people that came here. And the people that have came here are anywhere from the 1800s to the 2100s. The Mofang basic external morphology is remarkably humanoid. Bilateral symmetrical trapezoid, bipedal, 2 legs, human with anterior facial features. Mouth, eyes, nostrils. Other external features include minimal body hair and raised dorsal protrusions. Whew, Brandon. I am good at reading. That's why I play video games. But I need to read more and more. That's okay. Constitution is somewhat frail, due apparently to their thin and lightweight internal structure, but internal investigation has not been possible. They have ample cranial space to account for a substranal brain, and their intelligence is impressive, as evidenced by their advanced technology. Oh, so it is very humanoid, bipedal. Okay, so alien-type Mofang. Awesome. The Aria. After a certain level of maturity and health of the tree, a passage opened at its base. This passage allowed contact with 2 additional species. The first contact was with the Ari. The first contact revealed with the Ari to be large beetle-like insects. Oh, where we are unable to communicate directly with them in any way, but they appeared to have some rudimentary level of intelligence. Are these those flying beetles that are in the mines? Maybe. It was Lornik Toth who first made the journey through the heart to Kaptar, and named both the New World and the inhabitants. Okay, so this happened at the base of the tree when it was healthy. The Arai have 3 distinct variants that have come to be referred to as barnacle, beetle, and polyarch. Yes. Although their morphology is dramatically different from human, their internal systems, like all of our neighbors, are supported by similar atmospheric composition and basic nutrients. In their barnacle stage, the Arai are completely immobile. The Arai stay in the egg-like development state seemingly indefinitely. Brandon. In order to hatch, they must be in proximity of a polyarch and fertilized by the beetle after the certain stage of maturity. The beetles are the eyes and ears, hands and feet. With only minimal nervous systems of their own, they are essentially sensory extensions of the immobile polyarchs. They are able to exercise simple commands, but apparently have very little in the way of individual sentience. Oh. So we got humanoids, which are the Mofang. We got the Arai, which are bug-like. The Arai polyarchs are the intelligence and consciousness of the species. Although it's obvious that there was intelligence behind the species, it wasn't until Caroline Farley began spending large amount of time in the close proximity that deeper communication began. With a room nearby, Farley was able to communicate non-verbally and learn much about the species, including some historical information. The Arai species survived in the world while other sentient species came and went. Among them, an ancient species who formed a deeper relationship with the Arai, carving temples and dwellings for them in the rocks, and later more recent species that took over much of their homeworld. This later species was especially adept at mechanical construction, using it mostly to capture and process large flying creatures, using the beetles as bait. Oh. Are you lovely? Villian. The final species to be discovered were Villian. The Villian had communication with the Arai for many years, through ambassador seeds, but became part of the large community very shortly after the Arai. Am I saying Arai? Ave? A-V-E-A-I? A-R-A-I? I think it's A-R, the Arai. I'm fine, whatever. With a large and imposing frame, and a form of communication based on a complex, multi-voice, low-frequency rumble, the initial introduction were intimidating. After several attempts, Amélie Vidal was able to begin some rudimentary communication and began visiting the Million in Marais, which she named. On a regular basis, period. She discovered a complex and amazing society that was able to use their technology in unexpected ways. They had ability to quick transform the world using extended structures based on some form of complex miniature substrate material. Oh boy. Unlike the other words, the Villian sphere is scooped out of a Villian resettlement group that was preparing to set off into space to find a new homeworld. This was their way of life. to put themselves into stasis and scatter themselves through the stars. Not a bad plan. As mentioned previously, their appearance is imposing, standing about 9 feet tall with a distinct reptilian resemblance. They have 6 limbs, 2 muscular legs and arms, and a smaller set of arms. They control every aspect of their technology with their vocalizations. But over the years, they have created control panels based on their number system to allow species easier access elements of their technology. So the thing in the garage. Oh, he's a big dude. Well, that's that one. Alright. Communication, talking with our neighbors. We take communication for granted, even with the very languages we find here in Hunrath. But when we suddenly find ourselves among suddenly find ourselves among other intelligent species who don't share our cultured history, DNA, or other our vocal cords, it requires a huge amount of effort to begin for the beginnings of rudimentary chatting. This quick overview will set the stage for what to expect when communicating with our neighbors. Oh, the Mofang. The Mofang were first non-humans we meet. With at least some level of physical vocal generating abilities, they picked up human words quickly. So the Mofang are able to mimic humans easily. The early mimicry resulted in what species became to be called. Even though they were able to mimic single words and other simple phrases, it became evident over the years that huge grammatical differences were not easily overcome. Some have proposed that the difficulty may have arisen because of the Mofang insisted on attempting to learn every human language, and as a result were never able to lock onto any consistent grammatical structure. So they're learning everything and not perfecting anything. Nevertheless, in spite of the rudimentary sentences construction, it has been very easy to communicate and has been unnecessary for us to learn the language beyond a few simple phrases and proper names. If you'd like to learn more about the communication with Mofang, please contact Tam. The Villian. The Villian have presented particular communication challenge. From what we can gather, they produce sounds using 2 large reed-like structures in opposite sides of their head. The vibrations generated are channeled to resonance chambers in the skull, where they have combined into complex low-frequency dual tone. The low-frequency bitonal sound are not only hard for humans to hear and resolve, but impossible for us to mimic. And the Villians hearing hearing is also oriented towards low frequencies, so they are unable to hear most of what humans associate with speech. Therefore, communication with the Villians relies on technology. They have adapted consoles, which the Villian frequency controls vocalization, for use by other species. Over the years, some individuals of other species, including a few humans, have learned communication very effectively using this method. Humans have been able to pick out some higher frequency characteristics of certain key Villian words over the years. And although we can't speak to them in a way that Villians can understand, we are occasionally able to hear and recognize the words when spoken distinctly by the Villian. If you'd like to learn more about communication with the Villian, please contact Vito. The Arai. None of the stages of the Arai morphology have any vocalization apparently, or any vocalization apparatus, because of the obvious synchronization of the barnacle flash and the ability of the pawns to provide for an address needed of the polyarchs. It was assumed that the species cannot communicate efficiently. It was not until Farley began to spend a large amount of time in the polyarch the arch chamber that the first clues to its communication became evident. After months of research, Farley began to have limited access with receiving some kind of simple messages that were from the polyarchs. It is apparent now that the polyarchs have been attempting to communicate the entire time, but they themselves have been experiencing various channels until they got a response from Farley. After this breakthrough, others were able to tune in to the polyarchs and listen. Brandon. Both the polyarchs and the pawns have a simple organ that can sense human vocal frequency, enabling them to sense simple responses from humans. But over the years, Farley was able to learn to speak to the polyarchs via related forms of extrasensory transmission. And if you'd like to learn more about this communication with the RI, please contact Farley. Okay, so we are contacting all the species that have been brought here. Woo, seed information. Well, let's see here. So that's definitely the thing that brought me in. I assume this is also the seed from the bottom of the tree. Ambassador seeds were first documented about 150 Earth years ago. They occurred about once every 400 days. If the trees remain healthy, natural seed swaps occur between pairs of seeds that now we know drop simultaneously from healthy trees in paired sphere. When each seed was touched by a species in sphere, the swap occurred, sending an ambassador from Earth from each sphere to the paired sphere. Okay, so one seed went to different planets, one seed stayed here. Localization of swap is defined by the locations of the pairs of seeds. After the first swap, the seed recharged quickly, allowing for a quick return. First meetings were intense but naturally short was a surprise for both Mofang and us. Over time, the seeds required more time to recharge, producing longer visits between species. Collecting seeds. Everyone who arrives is familiar with the collector seed. So the collector seed is the one that goes out to different planets to find somebody. The bright light that we were all drawn to before the event that brought us here is a collector seed. What new arrivers might not be aware of is that these seeds, like all seeds, come in pairs. When the tree drops a collector seed on the ground, it signals that its twin has begun a quest for a new being. That search may take hours or it may take years. When in an appropriate situation, unnatural threat of death is found, the seed activates and swaps a similar but variant sized sphere from Earth or wherever here to Hunroth. As Hunroth become more populated, we would watch for a newly dropped collector seed, collect it, and place it in the entry canyon area. That's where I started in this game. This allowed us to provide more predictable entry experience for new arrivers and provide a single area to collect as many resources that we may have from the new arriver. Okay, so every time the collector seed goes out and gets a new being to bring here, they take the ambassador seed and put it in the canyon. So every single time there is a swap, it takes what was remaining in the canyon after they looted it, and it's swapped with the brand new being coming into this world. So I have the picnic table in the campground in this world. Okay. Unlike ambassador seeds and mother seeds, collector seeds do not seem to survive. The inner core is spent, leaving only the lifeless outer husk, which is still in the campground. Mother seeds. Postulated but unverified. First suggested by Amelia Alima Hamza, 2232 Britain. The notion of mother seeds extrapolates the behavior of the lesser seeds to a super seed. She posted that the process that actually cited new paired spheres was similar to other swaps, but on a much grander scale. The idea that two seeds from a mother tree were scattered on the galactic winds to find appropriately similar environments. When matches were found, some process was triggered that swapped large portions of landscape between vastly different worlds. So that's why we have the trains, and that's why we have the gas station. Those were from the mother seeds. Okay. Alama further noted that the tree location in the center of the sphere suggested that the trees grew from these mother seeds. Because of the similarities, it has been conjectured that the reswapping the entire environment spheres might be possible with a larger scale version of the ambassador seed machine. Oh. Or close the book, whichever. Come on, Brandon. Open the book. I'm not done with the book. Nope, I'm done with the book. Okay. That was a little bit of reading there, so sorry about my reading level of skills. But it got a lot of good information in there. That was really good. Welcome! So I'm going to end this episode here, just because that was a lot of exposition. And thanks, guys, for hanging out and getting through that with me. And here in another episode, momentarily, I'm going to investigate more in this house. So thank you guys for checking out my video. Thanks for checking out my channel. Hit the sub button, hit the like button. We'll see y'all soon. Bye, guys.